You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. Okay, greetings everyone. Greetings and welcome to this exclusive edition today. First of all, I want to apologize shortly for what just happened. We were not live. We were not really public, and now we are back, and I can see you all connecting. Thank you for being here. Thank you, NS. Yes, today we want to talk about Eritaj. We've been singing and drumming and playing the art here for the past 2 weeks, and everybody's excited with this exclusive event coming up in Florida on the 16th of November. I mean, on Saturday. And people were already asking, what is it all about? How could they get tickets? How can they get there? So Professor Bayyinah Bello, who is actually the team on this board of this production, of course, the one that actually did the historical research of the production, is live with us in studio. And she had promised to be with us to be able to share all information. Like most of you who are not going to get tickets, you're already watching, Heritage right now. You see, so that's what is going to happen here tonight. But please, what we want to do is to encourage you to share the link with your loved ones in Florida, in America, to attend this exclusive historic event and production, right? So I will not waste a lot of time. I'm actually, oh, you're on a Zoom conference, but just observe now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and share the link with one another. Professor Bayyinah is not only going to be alone to talk about this historical production, what Eritaj is all about, what the heroes of Haiti had done, and they're putting it in context right now for everybody to be a part of this history. So what we've been saying the whole week is ignorance is going to be a choice. Ignorant will be a choice for the new generation, because all what the historians, the liberators, the activists, the movements of the past have been doing in the recent times is actually bringing that history and the narratives, like in the form of information, education, entertainment, like bringing it live to the audience in every format possible. So no African child, nobody would stand the choice of saying, "Oh, I did not know." No, ignorance is going to be your choice as we're bringing up this exclusive interview today. So you have a right to ask all your questions as usual, and let's bring Professor Bayyinah live on the show, and she's going to be accompanied, by one or two persons who are actually here to support the cause. But like I said, hey, the link for the tickets are already ready. Everything is set. You would just be a part of this event. So let's welcome Professor Bayyinah Bello live on stage on Pan-African Daily tonight. Greetings, Professor Bayyinah.
Greetings, Jumbo, Alafia, Sanu. Greetings to the whole family wherever they are, whatever language they use. Lone for Haitien. So it's a pleasure to be with you today. It's a pleasure to share, to respond to your questions, to your comments about the play Eritaj, and which will bring to life 10 of the great women who participated in Haiti's history and who our children don't know, unfortunately. The books are written as if women did not exist yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be a great pleasure. And also, I will be sharing with you that I'm now becoming an actress.
Oh,
Who
woo!
will be part of the play. So, but it's nothing new really in the family because my father's mother, my grandmother, paternal grandma, she had her career, her debut in acting. She was 70 plus, and she made one film, only one film, and that one film took her all around the world. It was her entire career. After she decided that women should not stay in the house all the time because men are always dying on you, because she'd been the widow to 3 husbands.
Oh, oh, oh my God. Professor Bayyinah, before I even asked that question, you were already, because that was some of the questions that people had put on, like, can Professor really see herself, in playing the role of a queen mother in the revolution? Because, like, they're not representatives, and now you're already saying, you've been called into that role. I'm very happy. And then another thing, we're seeing that now you're internationally responsible at Fondation Felicite. We're seeing, like, the questions would definitely be, are you taking Fondation Felicite globally now? Or what is the message that we're going to be listening from you tonight?
It is exact. We are working to expand Fondation Félicité so that we would be able, because having gone around the world, we have observed that our people are in the same situation throughout the world. It doesn't matter if I'm in Haiti, I'm in Togo, Nigeria, same old, same old. And the problem is the same, which is the lack of knowledge of self. And the lack of knowledge of self, we need to know power. So you cannot have power. You cannot even aspire to power until you know who you are. See, the power of the tiger is in the knowledge that the tiger has of itself and its entire environment. The power of the ant is in the knowledge that the ant has of itself and its entire environment. So if I'm standing in front of you, in my head, it's all the French stuff I learned, all the French philosophy, all the French history, all the French etiquette, all the French protocol, all the French what is good and what is bad. Then even though both of us, we look alike, but we're two very different people. And I look like I would be part of the family, but everything in my head is French. So I will also have the prejudice that French has against Black folks, in spite of the fact that I am Black. So that's what lacking knowledge of self does to us. It makes us unable to even recognize family. Sometimes, somebody say, oh, the Black person did this or that to me. Are you sure it was a Black person? It may have looked like one, but we would have to analyze and find out, what does this person know about Black history? What is this person's attitude towards Black people in a general way? Recently this year, when I came back from Cameroon, I was not well. Maybe a week or two after, I was kind of sick. My family's first reaction was, they either say, you caught something in Africa or they did something to you in Africa. Now, here we are with Black people who are fairly informed. But the reflex is, if I had come back from France, nobody would have connected my not being well with France. If I had come back from Spain, from Russia, no problem. But I come back from Africa or I come back from Haiti, they did something to you. we don't know who we are. We need to really dig deep to undo and expulse the enemy in us. Sorry, I can't hear. Oh, you are on mute, Dr. Tata.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
I was also in Cameroon together with you, and I came back, and I was also sick, and I also got the same reaction. I also got the same reaction. What were you eating there? Oh no! And in Cameroon now, there's something they say. Oh, your village people, like your
Yes, of
village people.
course.
You know, you were in Africa and you went to death ceremonies, and you were most of the time in the village. So your village people must have done something wrong to you. You see,
That's
that's
right.
how damaged really we are, and it's so unfortunate.
Very true.
You have sung the song, beat the drum, walk the walk, fly the fly, acting the movie of knowledge of self. Professor Bayyinah, I don't know any statement that you could make in a day without actually touching the knowledge of self. But now, when you look at the reaction around, like us, that have been at your feet to learn the whole global Pan African Daily Family Fondation Felicite, your brother, Professor James, is waiting right here, waiting for you to finish your introduction and join your life here. I mean, it, like you taught us, I don't believe I know. You know that you have built a generation that is now saying, yes, I know who I am, Professor Bayyinah Bello. Am I right to say so?
Yes. In fact, very often I'm looking at some young folks on whatever social media, and I'm like, what this child saying? You know, I said, whoa, she's talking exactly like I spoke 20 years ago, 30 years ago. She's, or he, you know, and in all kinds of fields, whether it's in education or somebody talking on whatever field they're talking. And I'm saying, yeah, so that's wonderful. Now I can get my rocking chair and look at them go forward. Yes, it's a very rewarding. That's what comes to tell you, yeah, you have spent your time well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You have. I can relate. I can give you the feedback, the million feedbacks of coming that it's not just lived well, but the legacy is in place. And it's really time for Fondation Felicite and Professor Bayyinah to leave the seat and the back screens and go in those theaters and be the mother warrior of the continent. I mean, we know there are a lot of women kings. I could imagine Professor James is here, and he would answer that question to us. Who would have been the best role, the actor of Woman King? I don't know anybody that would have beat Professor Bayyinah, and we're going to do it. We're going to do the original version of it, Professor Bayyinah.
Mm, I don't think so. I don't agree with you guys. I think Viola Davis was fantastic.
Yes.
And I think she had in her such, she awakened in her the woman king, and she expressed it beautifully. We must not make the mistake. Um, my years of research has given me a certain amount of knowledge, but I am not an actor. Just like I sing, but I'm not a singer. Okay, I could I am audacious enough to go ahead and sing, but I am not a singer. But the important thing, I think, what I'm able to do is to inspire the singer to sing information that is worth educating our people on. Is to inspire the actress to do things, like in this particular in the play Eritaj. I'm not an actress. I'm just playing Bayyinah. I'm just a griot. So I'm just, showing that, yeah, the importance of our women folks, which in some countries, in some populations, we are more than 60% of the population.
Yes.
And then the history goes he.
I know the she, ro. Or not
And
our
erasing the
history.
she.
Not our history, is our story. I mean, these are vocabularies of Professor Bayyinah. I want to thank all of you that are joining and watching this exclusive now. We want to really dash into Heritage, what is going to happen. But before I'm bringing Professor James live on the show, and as he walks to the stage, I want to play the "What is this all about?" Professor James, is it possible for you to elevate your camera a little bit? Yeah, if you put it, I will tell you. Yes, yes. Woo!
You want to
Yeah,
see that
that's the
handsome
point.
guy.
Exactly, exactly. So we all of us are really in that on that stage now. I mean, Professor Bayyinah have been on stage, me not. I think she will tell us, yes, the camera position and the tone and the music and everything. So let's just watch.
Haiti, fragile nation, land of the unexpected. You ask for more from Eritaj, and now it's coming. Get ready for an unforgettable experience on Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m. at the Coral Springs Center for the Arts. Join Yol de Rose and an incredible lineup of talented artists as they present a powerful play that proudly showcases the history of our beloved country, helping us to truly understand. Eritaj is a collective effort involving more than 40 artists and technicians, all coming together to bring Haiti's rich cultural heritage to life. 10 remarkable voices will embody the roles of 10 brave female ancestors who made immense sacrifices in the battle for Haiti's liberation. The cast includes Carole Demesma, Laurence Durand, Béatrice Quebro, Tiffane, Misty Jean, Donald Z. Théodore, La Famille Soleil, Darlene Desca, Fatima, Ali Alert, Riva, and Richelle Guillaume, all reenacting the pivotal roles these women played in building our resilient nation, Haiti. Eritaj is the original creation of Yol de Rose in collaboration with Florence Jean-Louis Dupuis for stage and production design. Historical research conducted by Bayyinah Bello. Choreography by Jean-René Dessoin. Eritaj, Saturday, November 16, 2024, 7 p.m. at the Coral Springs Center for the Arts. This is the real deal. Tickets available now online or on site of the Coral Springs Center for the Arts. Eritaj, don't miss out.
Wonderful. Thank you, beloved. We are back. And yes, that is Heritage. We have Professor James here. Greetings to you, Professor.
You want to hear from me? I'm here to hear Bayyinah.
Yes, I know, but you know, I'm just like
such a long time. Tell the story of our mothers. She has been doing it. She has written about it. She has lectured about it. And when you truly know African history, it's a history of the creation of the mothers. In most African cultures, you don't get to be a king unless you're chosen for the role by the mothers, by the queen mothers of that community. Now, the men may carry out the ceremony and the things, the rituals, but the person who chose that leader is the mother, because she knows the spirit of all the children raised in the community and knows the one best suited for the role. So we see the man sitting on the throne and he looks wonderful, but he's the child sat on that throne by the mother. If you go back all the way to ancient Kemet, and we talk about the great Haru, but Haru sits on a throne. The throne is the lap of Aset, his mother. So if you understand the metaphors that our ancestors left to teach us, and as Bayyinah was saying, if you look at the metaphor through French eyes or British eyes or some other eye, you would think the boy child sitting on the mother lap is the king. No. He's sitting on the throne, and when he sits on that throne, he represents the mother. That's the role of the king. Because the mother of society in the African culture is the first manifestation of divinity as human. You said it again because people really don't understand it. The first time the divine all and all, the one, decided that I would now express myself as a human being, it expressed itself as an African woman who then gave birth to the rest of us. If you truly want to understand the relationship about the divine mother, the virgin mother, it is that manifestation of the divine in a relationship with the totality of the divine that gives the virgin birth to the rest of us. It is all our story. It is in our culture. It is in our metaphor. It is in our folklore. But if we are looking at Africa through the mind of the enemies of Africa, you won't see the beauty of divinity in Africa. And you won't truly understand that beauty unless you truly understand the role that women play, especially in our liberation process, but particularly in the historical liberation process that took place in Haiti, because it became the model for all revolutions that followed. Except we're not paying attention because we hid the motivating factor. If you remove the woman, there is no revolution in Haiti. There is no revolution. You've got to put the mother of creation. She creates ideas, concepts, and principles about freedom because no one knows what true freedom is like the mother, the woman. And that's why Eritaj is going to be a dynamic display of our narrative told by us to the world. And so congratulations, Mother Bayyinah, and to all the actresses that you have in this production. This is another level. You've elevated the level of education, socialization about people. Thank you.
Thank you. But I have to say thank you, Yolde Rose, who is the sister who, for more than, let's see, I think it was 2001, the first time she took some of my research and put it into play. And she has been doing this ever since. And she's a fabulous person. I hope she will be in a position to join us. I sent her the link, but she's doing 1,000 things a day, a minute, in trying to prepare for the 16th. So, if she can, she will join us. I hope she does. But yes, this is a fabulous woman. In fact, born in a fabulous family, because each one of them have talent. When she has to make a play, she has a sister who could sew all the clothing we need. She has another sister who could do all the decoration. She has another one that could do this and that, and so it's really a whole family of artists that she's from, and that's and she's herself an accomplished singer. For more than 25 years, she was at the top in quality and everything in Haiti. She and her husband, they sang as a duo for more than 20 years. And after he left, she started into theater.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just stepped back, Professor James, because we have another brother of yours from the continent who is also waiting here and said, we want to pull our legs for you, Professor Bayyinah, for all what you're doing, that this level that you're taking is just out of space. Like we never saw this coming. And so we have King Maponga Joshua right here. And she's I'll bring her to the stage. Professor Bayyinah is down. Professor, your brother, Professor James Small, is back in the waiting room, and I bring on brother Maponga, King Maponga, farmers of Thought, who said, I cannot hear that Professor Bayyinah is here, and I don't come to pay her my utmost respect for that production. So you're welcome, my king.
Thank you very much. And we have been hearing about the good work that you are doing and the play that you have staged up and storytelling. It is indeed an ancient legacy, a delicacy rather, for the old ladies. I am very fond of storytelling because I was brought up by my grandmother. In the ancient times, we had no TV. The sky was our screen, and we would shiver in our boots and shoes as she brought the past to life and telling us stories night after night. Whether those stories were true or not, I can't remember. But all I remember, by the time we went to sleep, all of us were holding on to each other. And our grandmothers have always been archives of beautiful, beautiful storytelling. But in those stories, then you'd hear the ethics, you'd hear the morals, you'd hear lessons of courage, lessons of chastity, lessons of discipline, lessons of honor, obedience. And this is maybe one thing that I would constantly be in tears of our Black brothers and sisters around the continent, particularly in the movie industry, who have lost that middle ground in the story as to what, at the end of the day, do you want to live in the minds of the people? What moral, ethical lesson do you want? Was it all the frivolous makeups and stances and lights and costumes? Yes, beautiful. They send a message. But when people are walking out of the theater room, I'm happy when people that have your caliber have taken up stage to close that gap. And as Professor James Small was saying, in our culture, we have a king who is Mambo. Then the mother or the wife is called Mambo Kadzi, meaning the female king, literally. That's what it means, Mambo Kadzi. So the one who is sitting on the big chair, which is me, and the one who is sitting on a smaller chair, who is the mother. The one who is sitting on the chair is the custodian of the one who is inside the one who is sitting on the smaller chair. So as it were, power is not in heights, but it is in depths on the lower chair. That's where power is. And when a woman kneels down, the man who is standing must sit down without saying a word. When a man is standing and he's working and the woman comes and kneels down with a dish of water, whatever the man is doing, he has to sit down and come down. So the question is, there are many women out there who speak a lot and get nothing done. And there are women who do very little and they get everything done. At the end of the day, maybe the question is, who is powerful? The one who talks a lot and gets nothing done, and the one who does very little and gets everything done. So as my grandmother would say, power is not in heights, but is in depth. The one who is closer to the ground is closer to power. For he or she who is lying down cannot fall beyond the ground. I thank you. With those few words, I want to congratulate you and wish you all the best of luck and fortune, and the blessings of the ancestors rest upon you as you communicate this word and message. Let the message reverberate through all hearts, and let the nations learn from our mothers. I thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Dr. Susan has got tendencies of leaving me in studio with her guests.
Like,
oh,
yes,
Professor.
At some point.
Yes, okay. I'm honored.
Now, at some point, I have to reverse the position because even in our minds, the positions of the mothers, like you said, whether they are high now or they are down. But of course, you just came here because you had to do your job. So we are going to listen to Professor Bayyinah. We are all custodians here in this palace, in this family, and she would tell us. I mean, like we are listening to the play without buying tickets, so we'll have to see how we compensate that right now. So, Professor, what is heritage?
Okay, Eritaj tells the story of 10 great women of Haiti's history, and we chose 10 very different fields. We have empresses, we have queens, we have soldiers, we have just women, freedom fighters. We have people who sacrifice themselves. You know, there's so much in the contribution of women in our revolution is so vast that when you pick 10, you've left 110 million billions of them unsaid. So, and we also want that to be understood. People tend to, if I tell you about one queen, you think, oh, there was one queen, but it's not about one queen. It's about a queen representing the queens, and an empress representing the empresses, an officer representing the officers, etc., etc., etc. Some women, for example, a woman like Marie-Jeanne, she refused to marry. General Louis d'Or Lamartinière was very much in love with her and asking her to marry him. And she told him, let's build the nation first, and then we will have the energy to build the home. But so she had a very specific idea that she wanted to put all her energy into building the nation. And if she was going to take some of it to make a home, to have babies and this, that, then she wouldn't be giving to the nation everything the nation needs to have from her. And when I discovered the Dahomey, our female army, I realized it was a law. When you enter the army, you cannot marry, you cannot have any relationship with anybody, because you're going to concentrate a certain time, a certain period of your life totally for the nation. And at some point in your life, after you have accomplished this, that, and the other, then you will be given permission to create a home. So the nation first, the home second. We had the same thing with Marie-Jeanne as a personal position. So when we look at these things, that also what makes me very, very happy is that y'all is such an open-minded person. With a lot of people, we couldn't have done it. For example, we have the Mambo, Cécile Fatima. We have the woman who raised Dessalines. A lot of people wouldn't even want to touch that because they said, well, there aren't enough writings by the French of the time about her, so we can't put her name in something. I said, wait a minute. You have a whole nation. When you question people orally, they know about her. Her name has become a proverb. We say in Haiti, ma pakite mvoye to yasu, ma voye to yasu, and tell a voye to yasu lot la. Her name is such a power thing. You threaten people with her name. And then you tell me you are such an intellectual that you can't talk about her because the colonists and the enslavers did not write much about her. So these are the type of things that we go through. And but basically the show, it represents different women. And she did something, Yoel did something very beautiful with this as well. She picked 10 very popular singers in the nation, young women, very popular, who sing very well. And she picked them to represent 10 historical women. So she showcases A, the history, and B, she also gives the young lady an opportunity to express her own talent. And so I think she did that beautifully, and that, I admire the way she is. I didn't think, when she first told me about it, I didn't see, of course, I'm not an artist, I'm not a theater person, so I don't see how you're going to take this person to play that. I didn't see it. But when I saw it on stage, I said, whoa, she has eyes that I don't have. So that's basically what we've been doing.
And I think what is more important, to just out of my own inquiry, I wrote one or two scripts, film scripts, and when Dr. Small fell ill and COVID happened, we put some of the ideas on ice. And quite interesting that the movie world is calling me back again. When you look at your storyline and the theatrical work that you have put out there, how similar is the struggle for women in diaspora and the women on mainland, and how do you connect the two audience? For me, it is one audience, just in different spaces. But I guarantee you that maybe what are some of the connecting threads and the struggles of women on mainland, the struggle of women in diaspora? I'm also cognizant of the fact that through the slave trade, you are seeing women having their husbands pulled away from them. You're seeing women having their children pulled away from them. And as it were, there is something that happens right there. So when women finally decide to go for battle, it is saying two things. It is, now you were supposed to do it as men, and you have not stepped up to the game. And when finally women step up for battle, it's our last line of defense. And I see lots of that feminine strength in the 10 women, the 110 million women who are represented in the 10. But it's just as a matter of inquiry, I would love you to maybe give us maybe 2-3 lines of the similarities, possibly areas of convergence in terms of shared pain, and also, don't want to just become somber, even shared celebration towards a society that is habitable, and the female energy becomes the connecting cable in societal order.
Quite a question. Thank you. It opens a big door. First of all, if we look at to reduce the answer, I could say, if we look at the problems are the same everywhere. Having gone through the Euro-Christian, slavo-colonial, horrific, barbaric experience, both of us, those who stayed on the continent or those spread around the planet, are in the same position. We have lost our own concept of what
King
is
Maponga
woman.
mute when she's speaking. Yes, thank you.
Okay. We have lost our own concept. What is a woman? Both in what can she do and what she is not allowed to do. Very confusing. We are very, very, I remember in the 70s when people started saying, oh, feminism, burn the bras, blah, 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 dress in a suit and put on a tie. I didn't see anything that was impressive about that. I was not interested at all. My mother has always worked. My grandmother has always worked. My great-grandmother has always worked. We were not going to invade the workspace. We had always been working. So, and I see the same thing on both sides. We were never sitting at home and powdering our faces. We always worked. So that was not an evolution for us. Now, the attitudes. this behavior of, you can talk to people in your kind of way. Well, it's regular inhumane colonized slavery attitude. Our people have always, there is politeness, there is humanity in the relationship of men, women, who set up the model for the relationship of children and adults. So if the father comes and bark at the mother and the mother barks at the father, what can we expect from the children? Not very much. They're learning how to bark to each other and to their parents. And that's exactly where the society is today. So roughly, the problems are the same. The impacts of these slavery colonial problems are the same on both sides. I remember when I lived in Togo, and I would see at certain point, I see certain hairstyles started coming into fashion. And I would say, oh no, Asian women don't do that. And then when I go home on vacation, I find all of us doing exactly what I thought none of us did on this side. But as things evolve, we go to the market, the way we set up the market, the way we put up our products, the type of same thing on both sides. So actually what happens, in short, the Hausa woman that was kidnapped 3 centuries ago and brought to Haiti, in Haiti, she has no clue that she's Hausa. She doesn't speak Hausa. She doesn't have the Hausa, some of the Hausa culture still in her. And when she has gone to school, gone to the university, this Hausa woman and that Hausa woman will be exactly equal. Over here, she knows what Hausa is, and she might even speak the language. But her behavior, her dressing, her this and that is all from the university. It's not from Hausa culture. And over here, she has no clue about Hausa, but the Hausa word is in our language. And like all African terms, identifying a people has become a curse. You insult, or not curse, an insult. I would say to Brother James, oh, look at your Hausa face. Look at that man, this Hausa man. Hausa, or if I say Congo, or any word that identifies a culture and a people has become an insult in our language. But over here, even though it's not in the language officially, but still, when I say over here, I mean in Africa, still we will find that people insult each other with their, yeah, you have to be able to do this. You have to be, we have all these complexes. So on both sides, same problem, creating the same impact and having the same, develop the same reflexes. Various degrees of not knowing selves, but not knowing self at the root on both sides. That's what my observation is.
I would like to throw a pebble at my professor there, and listening to your sister talking. Me, I'm the youngest here, so I can enjoy both the lap and the hand. Maybe you can just tone down from the high level of theater and philosophy, and maybe just break down a bit, and we drag the conversation towards childhood and upbringing. And here's your sister a few years later. I will give you a moment just to reflect on her in her teenage years and in her formative years into this wonderful and powerful woman whom we now have. What are some of the fond memories you have about your sister? And maybe in your conclusion could be, how do you feel about the play that she has put out for the world today?
Well, I remember the first time I saw Sister Bayyinah lecturing at a forum in Harlem many years ago. And I literally fell in love with the spirit. I didn't know, that there was someone who could articulate this thing that I would always think about. And I've watched her through all of these years not veer from the course at all. I've traveled with her in Haiti. We've lectured together in Haiti. We've been on this social media multiple times trying to tell our story. And she has not stepped away from trying to perfect the narrative of our ancestors. That's the best way to describe it. She has perfected how to express the ancestral narrative for contemporary consumption. And this play has taken it to another level, because many of our minds will be able to see and hear from this production that they may not see and hear if they just listen to a lecture, or if they even go to Africa and go to a village and even participate in a ceremony, because their mind have been programmed such to receive information in a certain way, in a certain medium. And she's been able to take the African heritage, the African truth, the ancestral message, and put it in a medium that can reach the contemporary minds. And that in itself is an enormous undertaking. But that's been the way she has taught the young. She's always been teaching the youth. She's always been teaching the young about this thing called yesterday in our world. These people from yesterday in our world. And I really learned, she don't understand this part, but I learned from her that we are the people from yesterday, today. She don't know she's taught me that, but she was the one that allowed me to see that. You don't remember one night I was in your shrine, laying on the floor beside Besseline's shrine. You left me there by myself after we had poured libation. And at first I'm going like, what am I supposed to learn from this? And what I learned from that is that Dessalines and me, we're the pieces of the same being, aspects of the same being, having responsibility for the totality of the being going forward. And this production that she has helped and guided as a methodology of telling our story, taking our narrative to the next level, putting it in a mode that will be listened to, even when they won't know what they're really going to hear when they go in, but they'll walk out having heard something they never thought was possible to know. And so that's what I think of it. That's what I've seen, the reviews that she sent to me and to others, and what was shown today. And I know her. I know the spirit, because there's no African man that can't love the spirit, because this is our mother. You know, this is our effect. This is our mother. She represents certain qualities of the universe that she's had the strength to manifest into daily reality. And so that's who we're talking to. She knows how much I love her. Oh, you said that in the book. Yes, the whole world now knows how much I love this lady. Because she's my mother. She's my sister. She's my wife. She's my daughter. She's my auntie. She's all of them. And then she's my God divine. She's all of them. So, and she's just given birth.
That's heartwarming.
The other way to say this, Doctor, is that she has just given birth to another aspect of herself. She's just given birth to another aspect of herself.
Well, back to you, Dr. Bayyinah. A man with one eye is a king amongst the blind. A man with one eye is a king amongst the blind. Looking at your storyline and maybe the future plans, are there any possibilities of taking this play around the world and bringing it back into the African continent, and maybe with some collaborations, hook up with other theaters around the continent? That's question number one. Just the future of this play. And question number two would be in the line of the reprogramming of the children in the storytelling. The taking away is one story. The bringing back is another story. And I believe strongly if mothers can begin to just whisper to the children, you don't belong here. Your home is over there. You don't belong here. Your home is over there. I believe strongly that within one generation, because what our mothers tell us becomes the Bible, using that word in that context, that what mommy says in a formative years becomes all. I mean, I used to love boxing. And I did it for 6 years. And I used to knock people's teeth off and stuff like that. And one day my mother looks at me and say, but you are more than that. You're more than that. And in that reflection, I would let me just throw it to you and allow your heart to bubble and hear what I'm trying to say here.
All right. The first question, of course, Impossible died on November 18, 1803, when Haiti had slaughtered 3 ferocious European armies, put them to their feet. So Impossible died for us. So the thing is, can we muster the energy necessary to do what we want to do with this play? And that is where the question lies. You know, will we meet the right people? Because everything is about meeting the right person. I can meet you and you're a millionaire, but you're a millionaire who only want to spend money on naked behinds. You're not interested in that kind of a play. But there is one millionaire somewhere who could be interested. So I have to meet that person. See? So, and we don't need, you know, I chose millionaire as a, you know, an easy way to say. But we can also do today, if we know how to do it, we could use this media thing. Every day I hear people doing a fundraising. Let's say we needed $2 million to take it to Africa. That's no big deal. That's chump change money for a lot of people. But we could do, you know, something fantastic with that money, which may be just a vacation money for someone else. Okay, so we need to set the right program, set the right plan, and really be convinced. You know, the first time I wrote about the women, those women that we are playing, that are in the play, was in 1995. And I wrote an article about women, those women, and a couple of people said, you know, oh, this is impossible. Women could not, in those days, there is no way women could have done that. And I was so annoyed. And I started looking for an artist to make representation of these women. And sure enough, I found a young man who did the 10 for me very quickly. And so I made a calendar in 1995, illustrated by 12 great women in Haiti's history. That was my first publication, my first attempt to put this work out. I think we made something like 5,000 calendars, and I don't even have a copy anymore. It was just gone. People were very much, you know. So all this to say, if we set our minds to it, right now, what my mindset is, we want to find the right team so we can have that play for at least a month in the same city. Because if you're moving here and there, every time you move, it's even more expensive. Whereas if you could be in the same spot with the same people, then it becomes less and less expensive when you're stable somewhere. So the first thing we need is to have the play function in the same city for this many weekends, this many days, nights, whatever. And then we'll start moving around the country where we are. And there we can build the funds so we can take it to Africa. And also we think in terms of, as we move, let's say we were taking it to Nigeria, then of course Amina would have to be part of the play. At least a couple of Nigerian women would come into the play. If we go to Togo, it would be a different. If we go to Cameroon, it would be a different. So that kind of, we have this latitude because we have great women all over our planet. The thing is, very often, it's just that our so-called intellectuals don't know about them. The people who've never gone to school know more about the women than the people who've gone to school. So that's a reality. And we have to learn to value our people, whether they've gone to colonial schools or not. So that's on the first question. That's how I see the play. Yes, I think it will grow. And I think I will be gone and it will carry on. So that's one of the things that we're leaving for our folks. We also have written years ago, and everything we do never comes right away. So we wrote a movie, a series on the life of Empress Félicité. Empress Félicité, the first Empress of Haiti, who survived some 20-odd years of slavery, atrocious slavery, and became eventually the wife of Dessalines and became the first Empress of Haiti. So has gone from slave to Empress. And a brilliant woman who lived to be 110 years. And she was a healer all her life. So we're talking about somebody who really knows about health. We're looking at doctors who can't make it to 40 and 50 years old. And we have healers who live to be 110. And even today, I do know several. In fact, I met one healer in my family, Canis Auguste, lived to be 126 years old. So the whole concept of longevity, we need to look at it differently. The whole concept of health needs to be looked at very differently. So all of this is, those are elements that we need to, and we plays, and that's why I was very, very happy with a play like Woman King. If you could, number one, as I said before, Viola Davis did a fabulous job. She implicated herself. She put her money into it. She put a lot into it with others, of course. And she did not get, in my book, that film did not receive what it should have. Because also I think they made choices of not using a whole lot of blam, 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 blam. Things were very normal and ordinary and as close to real as possible. And I think the audience is more accustomed to people jumping and fall, they didn't go that road. But I think they did a great job. So we need to get into movies like that. Support the ones that are being put together or that come out, but that also will help us to bring other actors, other filmmakers into a different concept of filming. Not worth it to me to waste our energy talking about those who are making things that are not useful to the family. But we need to concentrate and give accolades and encourage our people to go. When there is a good movie, then all of us should come out and say, yeah, this movie is out there. I saw it last week. Great. Everybody go see it. We need to support the ones who make the effort. Often we don't. And that will help us to produce more and more better quality of the type of theater and movie and everything series that we need. You're on mute. Okay.
That's very brilliant. I wish I had known earlier when you were still scripting. I would have dropped you some few songs on my. I play a few instruments on my mbiras and other interludes. It would have been very nice to literally have the African homebrew feeling, but it's never too late. I think with time we'll share some more.
We're just starting. I'm only 76. I'm just beginning to work. So we will do other things together.
I like that. Over to you, Dr. Susan. I think I am happy, and if need be, another way also of just that we're brainstorming now. Another way also of maybe taking this this play to another level, if it can be. I know it's a new method, but since you're already into media, I think you'll appreciate it. After your month or your 2 months of play, if like on an app or something like that, we can contribute our theater tickets and watch it online. And when we throw it to some of our audiences, there 3, 4, 5, 6 million people who can hit the button to watch it, and we are willing to pay for it, and we promote it as such. I think it would be another low-hanging fruit in terms of fundraising and beginning to realize those that are now with us and they support the vision will be more than happy to buy tickets on internet, on YouTube or on an app, and we can get into the theater there and we can watch the play and we can share the links, and let's see how far we can go with those $3, $4 per show, or $10, whatever the price might be. I'm not necessarily putting on the price, I'm just throwing it as a figure out there. That it could be another way also of creating an international audience that can follow the play, so that even by the time it becomes a movie, it's something that we're anticipating. We can also convert the play into drawing the lessons from that, and then create another viral concept around that, create a booklet around that, do another variety of that, create the fashion around that, then create a culture, as it were, so that if you have the 10, I can maybe say we make them 12 or 10, 10 is fine, then every dress for a month, and then we can do almost similar to a Kwanzaa concept. This month I am Queen so-and-so, next month I'm Queen so-and-so, headgears, but anyway, you have to stop me, because once I get into my creative space, my tongue won't stop. It won't stop rattling, and I'm already part of the play now. I'm seeing how best we could take this beautiful concept and create brochures, and girl child education, headbands, even for fun, because I'm a fun-loving person in my own space. I'm even looking at a very unique market, which is the ladies' undergarments. That when women know what they are underneath, where it is invisible, they have a different attitude on the outside. And whoever has an opportunity of seeing what is underneath, I think the first thing they should be able to see is who are you dealing with and what are you looking at. The sacredness of that, for me, may even create a brand that is bigger than P. Diddy and much bigger than Jay-Z, because the culture of preservation of feminine energy in its sacred space, it's the kind of underwear that I would want to buy for my baby girls, is the kind of bras with statements that are written on them, queens that are labeled on them. This you cannot see. This is what is inside here. And I wonder, when a woman is putting on that on the inside, how she will be feeling on the outside, how she will walk on the outside, how she will talk on the outside. So maybe we're looking at other subtle methods of taking the brand of the strength of this play into something daily use, something practical, something I can touch, I can wash, I can hang, I can see, I can put on, I can, this play now literally
Thank you.
sticks on the skin,
Yes. Thank you. I
I
mean, you
love
said
it.
it already. You said if we don't stop you, farmers of thoughts, and of course, I'm just loving just the spirit, Professor Bayyinah.
I love it. I love the ideas. Absolutely. Uh-huh. That what you're not showing up is actually speaking of who you are. That your Brazil says queen, not the t-shirt. I love the idea.
You see, farmers of thoughts. That's what he's always there. I want to thank all of us, but I have to come back again. We have the also Professor James, who is actually, the godfather. I think he's been on the scenes and doing a lot. Professor James, can you unmute, please? And while let me just wake us up a little bit, just with a short wake up for us to be. Wonderful. I know Professor Bayyinah is a lover of music. And so, heritage, this is exactly the spirit. This is the spirit. And we are also getting to involve and engage in our traditional wake up sounds. And it's like a opening of heritage and what we're going to experience there. Now, thank you for that short break and getting that music interlude. Like I was saying, Professor James, you're in the movie industry. And I could remember even in the beginning, you had said, we have to start. It's just like for the artists singing the songs of revolution. We have to start bringing the messages in every format. Now we see if you go to Netflix, everything they bought Nollywood, which actually was just also like King Maponga said, not really on point. Now, how do you envisage heritage? Which is for me, because I'm already once I saw it, I was like, hey, everything, every event that we have to do, we have to put it in a kind of a fine art and theater to balance, the message and the things that we're saying. Professor James, what's your opinion like that? I mean, your godfather.
Well, I spent the weekend in Philadelphia with the Asar Set Society and with our great leader, Ra Nefer, Ra, the Shechem. And this was the topic we were talking about. This is what was on display. There was a drum circle at one point that had 20 drummers, male and female.
Yes.
And we were discussing our narrative, our legacy. How do we take our legacy to the next level? Who's in charge of the narrative that explains our legacy? And that's what this is about. What Sister Bayyinah and her sister comrades have done was to take our legacy and give it a narrative that we own, a narrative that take it to the level we want it to be known as. That there isn't, even with the invasion of the European value system and his interest and his principle, there is still laying dormant the African. And this type of presentation will wake her up. There's something in our mind waiting for a stimulus in our spirit, our soul. And this production of heritage is a stimulus that will wake up the African.
Yes.
Within
Yes.
us. And let us breathe again. And then we will recognize what the mind have to be cleansed of. We'll know we must cleanse ourselves of this filth, because there's something more glorious, more beautiful, more universal, more cosmological, more ecological that wants to become again and dominate its own space and tell its own story. You see? And it's coming. Our young people are there. I was shocked this weekend. The young people, there were hundreds of them at this event. The young people said, "Oh, I listened to you for years." And I go, "You really listen to me?" They know you, Bayyinah, because, I talk about you everywhere, right? They know Bayyinah Bello. These are the youngsters in their 20s and 30s. We may think they're not listening. Oh, believe me, the young people are listening. They're looking for their way back home. They do not like the genocidal mental motif they've been cast in. And this production will help destroy that, because they'll get a chance to look in the mirror and see a true reflection of themselves coming back at them.
Absolutely.
Important.
Absolutely.
Professor Bayyinah, you said something about the costumes, because that's a whole lot of communication. Please, I just want us to take a look again at the costumes.
Haiti, fragile nation, land of the unexpected. You ask for more from Eritaj, and now it's coming. Get ready for an unforgettable experience on Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m. at the Coral Springs Center for the Arts. Join Yol De Rose and an incredible lineup of talented artists as they present a powerful play that proudly showcases the history of our beloved country, helping us to truly understand. Eritaj is a collective effort involving more than 40 artists and...
Okay, what the costumes as a language and as education, Professor Bayyinah?
Well, all of it is writing. The costumes, the colors, the dances, the songs are different forms of writing. And each writing support the word. Okay. The word comes and express. For example, when we have Dede, Marie-Sainte Dede Basile, who's the woman who discovered when they slaughtered our liberator. And her outfit, her expressions, before she said a word, most people who have a little clue of Haiti's history already knew who this was, who was here. But I was in a repetition and I was stunned, because at some point she had to come from the room to the stage. The stage is about, I would say, a meter and a half high. The girl jumped up that high. There was no practice of this before. So she embodied the spirit of that personality to such a degree. All of us were like, I said, God, what if she breaks something? She jumped right onto the stage. And, so yes, the costumes, the colors, everything is about, speak before we even open our mouth. When I came on today, the first thing you said, what did you say? You said, "You're wearing purple."
Yes.
Before you said hi, you said, "You're wearing purple." That stunned you. Okay. Well, of course, this is Gede season, and Gede's colors are black, purple, and white. So yes, I decided that I wanted to honor that principle of speaking truth, of that principle. There is the the knowledge of all there is to know about life, all there is to know about the invisible world, the visible and the invisible. There is nothing that Gede doesn't know. And so, as he stand at the, people like to say, at the crossroad of death and life, but it's more than death, and it's much more than life. It's visible and invisible. And so wearing these colors would also help me to know more, to touch more of what I know that I don't know that I know.
Professor James, this is our time. Colors, costumes, music, message. Like Professor Bayyinah is living something. I don't know how to like I can just jump here in the studio. I don't even know. You can see like literally this is the time. This is actually like everything is just on point where Queen Mother opens up the stage for a new narrative through acting, through colors, through music, through costumes, through our kinky hair, through everything that represents us, and also trying to align the colors of the season and the meanings of these colors. I don't know how much more we can say this is our time, Professor. How much more we should we just light some fire now and carry Professor Bayyinah on our heads? I don't know who can touch her right there. You know, like
She is the mother. This concept of the mother in the African sense is different from the concept of the mother in the European sense. The mother is a container. I think someone was trying to explain it online recently, a young person. They think within the womb of every mother is the eggs for the next generation of mothers. And within that womb, within that womb, is the eggs for the next generation of mothers to follow that. Because the mother is an eternal manifestation of divinity. You know, sometimes I used to say, oh, we are God having a human experience. But that's a little hard for them to understand. But an eternal manifestation of divinity. That's what the mother is. That's the mother, the representative of the totality of divinity in this ecology we call earth and life that we're living in.
yes.
She's not just one that gives physical birth or does nurturing of substance. That's a small part of who the mother is.
Yes.
When we
Yes.
get to understand that in the African cultural context, as Bayyinah is coming from probably the densest African cultural manifestation in the Western Hemisphere. But let me explain that. We can go to Brazil, we can go to South Carolina and see the root people. We can go to Cuba and see or Puerto Rico and see Santeria, and go to Cuba and see Lucome. But when you come to Haiti, all of it is there in one pot. All of it is there in one pot. And it exploded into something we call a revolution. I don't even like the word revolution anymore. It doesn't really explain what happened in Haiti.
Yes.
It was a cleansing of itself, of something that was extraordinarily filthy, right? That had contaminated the entire environment. The Haitian Revolution cleansed that environment of that filth. Though it is still trying to manifest itself, it has not broken the spirit of the Haitian people. They may try out the media to say they've broken, but I know they have not broken the spirit of the Haitian people. Even though whatever they think they're doing, they're failing. And what this play is going to explain is why we cannot be defeated. Why we can never be defeated. Because we are authenticity. We on all of the cultural, spiritual, the ethical, moral high ground. We are authenticity.
We don't have that on the plate. This is so right, brother James, as usual, always on point. We don't have that in the play. But to me, when we're talking about our divinity and the role of the mother and how the mother set the stage, I'm going to give 3 examples. Toussaint Louverture, that everybody talks about, Toussaint, yes. He wrote in several letters that the way for them to go to fight, first, the children 10 and under go to the battlefield. They are followed by their mothers. The mothers makes certain sounds which confuses the enemy camp, the mind of enemies. And the children's role is to crawl onto the enemy camp, gather weapons that we don't have or that are easy to carry, and crawl back to bring to us. We're going to go to fight. We don't have no weapons. So our children go get them from the enemy, bring them back to us. Now, when there is a cannon, the cannon is the most ferocious weapon of that period. Mothers are responsible to make it not work, make it dysfunctional. Many times, mothers who have newborn babies go on the battlefield with their child attached to their back or their sides. And when a woman is fighting to render this cannon unusable, if she can't find nothing else, she will grab her baby and stuff it to the cannon's mouth. That's the kind of action we have had to do to bring the freedom that our people needed. Now, today, people have all kinds of very funny reaction when I say this. Oh my goodness, no, women can't be this harsh. Oh, she was being harsh. 300 years of slavery, of being maimed, tortured, dismantled for no reason. And stopping that, any action you take to stop that, you today who benefited, you talking about she was being harsh. Do you know what happened to the heart of this woman who sees that she has to put her baby child there?
Well, as this play will teach in its expression of the different characters of the multiple females that made up our greater society, especially in this revolution, they will learn something about African cosmology, which we know so little of. That in our cosmology, we know for a fact there's no such thing as death. We know for a fact there's no such thing as beginning or end. Impossible propositions made up by white people to explain their limitations. But we know in our culture that that baby had already left and gone home before that body was used. The complex sacred science of African cosmology is yet to be unfolded in modernity. But this play will be one step towards seeing that in the efforts of the females who took their place in removing the genocide, bringing to an end the genocide. Not just the genocide in Haiti, let's be clear. This ended slavery in the Western Hemisphere. Haiti immediately sent troops and finances to South America, Central America to free those there. And those of us in America, we took our cue. Nat Turner said that his leader was Jean-Jacques Dessalines. We knew who we were. Haiti ended the genocide of slavery as we knew it then. A small group of men and women and children on a small island, on a corner of a small island in the Caribbean, changed the entire world, changed the trajectory of Western imperialism and genocide. And when you see the power of the woman in getting that done, you'll begin to understand who the African woman really is.
Absolutely. And there is nothing that happened in Haiti that I have not found on the continent as well.
Mm-hmm.
When I mentioned the woman who put her newborn baby, stuff it into the cannon mouth, well, we think of Queen Poku. To save her people, she gave her only child, and with no hope of having another, to the river. And that's how, when you talk about the Baoulé people took the name of that child, and the Baoulé means the child is dead. So it is because the child died that the Baoulé exists. One child is gone, and a whole people rise. That's what we have to understand.
Yes.
And only women can do this kind of move.
Yes.
A man doing it would be a crime. Because a man would go get somebody's child. The woman takes what comes out of her womb and does what has to be done.
It's so deep, Mama Bello. Yes.
We have already, and I think I've only seen a tiny bit of heritage in terms of promotion, but I'm sure one of the messages that it will give to the African world and to the entire world, because we aren't the only people enslaved mentally and psychologically by Western stupidity, greed, and arrogance. The whole world is.
Yeah, that's right.
And the whole world has taken a lot of cues from the Haitian Revolution on how to free their minds. And I think this production will further that, how do you say, that message, that need to understand that we are already free, but we don't realize that we are. If we can realize, if something can open us up to realize, I am already free. So let me just dislodge myself from this thing that dare to try to take away my freedom. Because now I have a picture of it. I know what it looks like when it tries to take my freedom. I know what I look like when I take my freedom back.
That's right. That's right.
So there we are.
Very important. And many times we say things are very complicated, hard to understand. They're not. And today I've reached a point where I understand it's just 4 words. 4 little words. If we really know what they mean and know how to live by them, life will be very simple. The first word is freedom. Do I know what freedom is? Do I understand when someone is stepping on my freedom? Then I know what to do when I know you're stepping on my freedom. Because freedom is the very first thing I need to be. Without freedom, I am not. Number 2 is health. And health and justice is the same thing. What we call health in the body, a healthy body is a very balanced body. Every part of your body is doing just what it's supposed to do, not stepping on the other one, not crushing over here, no inflammation, no nothing. It's just going smoothly. That's being healthy. In a society, we call it justice. That everyone in the society has what they're supposed to have, and they play their role without stepping on each other, without hitting each other, without anybody domineering anybody else. So health, justice, the same word. 3 is prosperity. We did not come on this earth. No people came on this earth to be poor and wanting and out of doors and no. And the earth produces enough for every living being, whether an ant, an eagle, a person, or an elephant. All of us have what we need to live prosperously without worrying about tomorrow. Only certain who want all for themselves create laws that will make you and I not have what we need. But Mother Nature gave plenty to everyone. So being prosperous is a natural way of being. And the 4th word is power. When you are free, you live with health, and healthy people create laws that create just societies. If a society is unjust, you can be sure those creating the laws or running that society are not healthy. Healthy people create prosperous societies. And it's natural. Once you have freedom, health, prosperity, you develop your own power. Every living being has power. There is no such thing as the ant has power. And in Africa, they like to talk about when the ant and the elephant fight, who wins? Okay, this is a way of showing us the elephant has his power and the ant has his power. But because the ant is very much aware how tiny it is, it takes the time to study its environment well. So it knows the only way it can win against the elephant is to crawl into its ear.
Its ears.
The one place the elephant cannot reach on his own body. So once it goes there, the elephant looks for something big and strong to scratch. So he's going to bang that ear on something. And the ants will have plenty of meat for centuries. They don't fight against the elephant. They just outwit the elephant with knowledge. So all that to say, there's no such thing as a weak people. Just because somebody got nuclear power and this weapon and that weapon, if you're not taking their thing as the way they give it to you, they tell you is, well, with this, you can't do nothing. That's crap. There are plenty we can do if we take the time to learn and study and know how it works. We can undo it. So the first step is for you to know every living being has power. Now, whether you know how to use it or don't know how to use it, that's your responsibility. But the divine has never created a creature that did not have a way to defend itself.
Woo. The elephant and the ant. Professor Bayyinah, you brought something. You brought something that is so unique. We say it in the village all the time. Like people position themselves like, even in the traditional beliefs, they always when they want to show power in the palace, And you see people named and say, I'm the aunt. Like I can come in and I say, Professor Bayyinah or Professor James, you know who is in this house today? It's Mr. Ant. Like that's how they name themselves. Now you're speaking it and everything is just making sense. Or who do you call me? Or when they're dancing at the ceremony, and he makes a move and like, who do you call me? And you see everybody say Mr. Ant. You know, like they position themselves according to the power of natural or creation in its powerful space. That's very, very deep, Professor Bayyinah.
See, if I'm the aunt, you're not going to pay me much attention.
Mhm.
I have a lot of time to plan and plot and deal with you. I know I'm tiny, so I will never try to do anything by myself. Send out the sound for 5,000, 10 million, 20 million of us. But you'll be saying, I'm the elephant. Aunt is no, you don't even see me. Yes.
The power of unity.
Mm-hmm. Very organized animal, very well structured. Okay.
Over to you, Professor James.
Unmute, please. Unmute.
Unmute.
And we go back to heritage. And I like definitions. You know, anytime you hear me speak, you'll hear 4 or 5 definitions. I always define the title. So I was looking at heritage, a collection of things that passed down from previous generations and are valued, preserved, and passed on to future generations. We have our physical heritage, our buildings, our monuments, our arts, our sculptures, our paintings. You know, we have our natural heritage, our environment, our landscape, our waterways, our wildlife, our insects like the ants, our plants that we heal ourselves with. Then we have our intangible heritage, our customs, our sports, our music, our dance, our folklore, our crafts, and our skills. All of these things make us the divine African being that we are. And this play, this production, is going to show us our heritage, bits and pieces of all of those 3 aspects, the physical, the natural, the intangible aspects of our heritage, as it manifests itself in the environment called Haiti.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Professor Bayyinah. We love you. We love you so much. Like it's
Thank you.
so deep in us, Professor James, always standing beside the sister. I mean, we're growing from strength to strength in our power to support one another, to be there for one another. Like literally, you're just teaching us what unity is, what love is, what strength is, what support is. I didn't even know Professor James knew that you were coming live today because, I mean, he was, I didn't inform him like. But then 5 minutes, like, send me the link.
I did not know. I just told her to send me the link, but I didn't know who was going to be on today. I just woke up with that spirit and said, I need to be at least listening to Dr. Tata today. And then she announced that you were coming. I was shocked. So, but I said, okay, that's what the spirit was.
Exactly. We truly love you guys. We appreciate everything. Somebody's asking King Maponga. King Maponga was also on the road. He just pulled over. He was driving home and he just pulled over. He's like, is that Professor Bayyinah speaking? I said, yes. He said, we all promise we have to be. And he pulled over. That's why he had to get back into the car and continue, the trip. Like, I mean, for somebody that who is asking, where's King Maponga? That's the spirit of unity. One for all for one.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Professor Bayyinah, Professor James is saying something. When we see is Eritaj, It's
Mhm.
like Eritrea, like I mean,
Mhm.
it's a combination of Haiti, heritage, Eritrea, like every combination. How did you come up to put that name? You see the way Professor James is saying it, and then I begin like, oh, it's heritage. Wait, heritage, Eritaj, like
Well, that's just how we say heritage in Haitian.
Yeah.
Eritaj. That's how it is said and pronounced and written. Eritaj. Okay. So, yes. And it's everything that Professor James mentioned. We are one with nature as a people. And we own and belong to this nature and every part of it. Like in Voodoo, of course, there are tons of songs, but one song is Feuille nan bois, si posé, feuille nan bois, si posé, l'ennemi barre moins, feuille nan bois, ou a sauvé moins. You leaf on the tree. Let us suppose that the enemy was catching up with me. You leaf on the tree. I know you will save me.
mm,
Okay.
the leaf
That's,
on the tree.
yes. Not
Mhm,
even talking about, we're not even talking to the tree.
mhm.
We're just talking to a leaf on the tree.
Tiny.
And we trust that this leaf can save us. How can we understand it uh, logically? All right. I'm running after Sister Tata, trying to catch her. A leaf can decide to, at whatever moment, the right moment, just fall on Tata. And she has to stop and push it off or whatever. There's something that happens. Just one leaf and gives me the chance to get away. A branch, a noise, all of that is part of life. We take everything into consideration. If I'm hiding in the bush and Tata and her army is passing by, if the bush is not happy with me, the bush will make noise. So Tata come and see what's going on here.
Mhm.
But if the bush and I are in harmony, then the noise will be made on the other side. And Tata will go look over there while I stay put right here
Mm,
under the protection of that bush.
mm, mm.
Every living being is deserving of respect because every living being, whether a vegetable, an animal, or whatever, elemental, whatever it is, because every living being has power. This illusion to think I'm the big cookie on this earth. Only I can decide what goes on around the world. Ah, that's an illusion. And the strength of our revolution is that we, our leaders, were always very clear. Whether you take Dessalines or you take Toussaint, you will find that when they are talking about the strategy, they include everything. Mother Nature will bring the rain. There'll be this, there'll be wind in the season. So we're not going to fight this moment. We're going to go hide in the mountain. We're going to do this. Everything takes everything into consideration. We don't just say humans are going to do this way, that way, and this way. And certainly there was no rules in the revolution about women not being able to. That didn't exist. Everybody had female and male in their armies. Everybody, Marie-Jeanne, for example, she had more than 2,000 spies working for her around the world. She's the one who gives to the generals the information. The Spanish are planning this. The French are planning that. Today, which one of our countries have a spy bureau? So we have knowledge of self will tell you that you have power. Don't sleep on it. Don't sit on it. Use it. Makes no difference what role you're playing. And don't mix it up. Oh, I'm only a cleaning lady at Professor Small's house. Well, if I say that kind of thing, then I'm belittling myself. I am the cleaning woman at Professor Small's house. I'm the best cleaning woman he ever had.
Mhm.
Now, if I see myself like that, it's a different story.
Yes.
Well, heritage is going to show us how the women of Haiti created this reality we're in now. Because the civil rights movement would have never happened in America. The many rebellions, Denmark, Vesey, Nat Turner, would have never happened in America. The revolution in Venezuela would have never happened in Venezuela. The Black people of Brazil would have never realized themselves to freedom. Haiti spoke to everybody in the hemisphere. Haiti is a manifestation of an African reality that I think heritage is going to show us that it realized itself under the power of its mothers. And we changed the entire planet. We think the European and his narrative talks about a man named Napoleon Bonaparte as being the greatest of all the generals they've ever produced, as being the master strategist and planner. But in their narrative, they never say Haiti defeated him and the greatest part of his army outright and broke him. He will never recover as a military mind after defeat in Haiti. That's not their narrative, but that must be our narrative that we tell this story.
That's right. In fact, Toussaint wrote a constitution in 1801. And after killing Toussaint, Napoleon copied the constitution and made his constitution from Napoleon's stuff, from Toussaint's stuff.
Toussaint's.
Okay.
So it is the question as Bayyinah opened up and saying, we must know thyself. That's the prerequisite to realize your freedom. And remember the freedom, the word freedom in the English context means liberated mind. Free to liberate, dome from the Greek word for mind. So when one's talking about freedom, they like to make us think it's just about chains on your limbs. No. You learn to remove the chains on your limbs when you free your mind. You free your mind when you begin to know yourself. And Haiti took us through that process. And I think heritage will show us again how that process manifested. And we will learn again how to free our minds, how to liberate our minds.
Wow. We are so honored that we have you in our presence at this time because, and like you said, what is the most important teaching that we're learning? That's why we said ignorance is a choice at this time, because what you are giving us, or what you're giving, or what we are giving our children and the generation through heritage. I'm telling you, I'm still trying to imagine that this is the sweep away. This is the beginning. Like Professor Bayyinah, this is the waters that are sweeping away and opening up the beginning of the new Africa and for Africans. We feel so proud of you, Mom. We feel so honored. Like we love you. We love you. Like I've been saying it everywhere. We don't that they we don't and we don't expect them to even know you because your ancestors have just put a veil on you and opened that process only to some of us that are blessed, as I can say it, and honored to just be in your presence and even have that, to listen to you teach us. We are the most blessed generation of people. When I experienced to, I say it all the time here, I've never experienced something like that. Truth that really liberates you. And ever since that encounter, I'm just fulfilled. Like sometimes I'm just happy. I don't know even know why I'm happy. Because I've never seen Professor Bayyinah not as beautiful and smiling. I've never seen, yeah, it doesn't mean that you are, but that fulfillment that you are giving us, I don't know how to say it, that we are so precious to have you. And we love you, love you, love you so much ever.
Thank you very much. Love is a very important part of our life, of our strength. Love is what helps us to understand the need for freedom. It's a degree of love of self that will make you say, why do I allow this person to do this to me? How do I go about undoing this? So it's the love of self. And if we do not love our own selves, we cannot love anybody. Don't lie. Don't tell yourself no lies. I don't like myself. I think I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm this, I'm that. I have to use products to lighten my skin. I had to redo my nose. I gotta. If I am in that state, I can't say I love you to anyone because I do not love me. Gotta love self. That's step number one. It is from your love of yourself that you will find to give some to someone else. No love of self, no love of anyone or anything. Let's look quickly. People who say they love dogs. I love dogs. I love cats. I love birds. So I put them in a cage. I chain the dogs. I take the animal from its natural life routine, impose on this animal a lifestyle that has nothing to do with its own nature. And I say, I love it. No. That is domination, not love.
Domination.
Yes.
Control.
Well, may I just say, when I disappeared for a moment, that was Dr. Wade Noble's calling to say congratulations to Sister Bayyinah and to send his respect and love.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Nobles. I'm glad you were. I saw the name, but I wasn't sure it was the person. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're going to be having him sometime very soon also. It's been a while. Just to touch base, even Professor Obati Shaka is also literally like reaching us. I miss Pan-African Daily TV. We want to touch base with the global family, and yeah, there's just no way again we can express this.
Yep, very important.
Sister Stevie Robinson. Sister Stevie Robinson, you see her name here. Is going to be with you in Florida.
Oh, hi, Sister Stevie. Glad to know that you're going to be with us, and we'll be happy.
Yes, and we are going to still come up, like we were saying, more possibility even after the 16, how we continue to distribute, how we continue to use our own spaces. Like on Pan African Daily, we have the option now that we can also do the same thing that Petron is doing. You know, all of them, they're in competition, who does better and who is doing what, and I have to do it too. So, like, we have the possibility to actually put Heritage, and only people who pay can watch it. And that goes to Fondation Félicité or to that. We have that
Oh, that would go to La Production Yol de Rose.
Yes.
She's the one who invested everything. I brought in the research, but she really.
Professor Bayyinah, we are one.
That's
I
true.
think
That's true.
everything that we say just goes literally like she gets everything through you. But you are our professor on the show, our mother, our professor who teaches us. Whoever or whatever tribes comes with you, it's you are the door opener, and to you we recognize. In doesn't mean we despise any other person. So I think,
Wonderful. All right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're not giving me a role of Aizan. Aizan is Legba's feminine entity. Okay. And in studying the laws, it became so much clearer about the role of the feminine, because Aizan creates measure, dimensions, degrees, distance, etc. And Legba create roads, open doors, open gates, create opportunities. So if we were to have a debate, who came first, the feminine or the masculine? What would you say, Professor Small?
Only within the feminine is contained the masculine. That is our lineage and our heritage. Other people have come up with their Genesis stories and their metaphor and allegory, but the universe is our Genesis story.
Exactly.
Okay. And so,
but to put it on a logical thing, you cannot create roads if you don't know measurements.
Yes.
So since the feminine created measurements and the masculine created roads, there is no debate.
There isn't, because it's all in one. There is, I know in the Islam, and you and I had a little taste of it, there's something called Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kuhulah Ahad Allah Samad. Balam Yulad, Balam Yulid, Balam Yukufuwan Ahad. Allahu Akbar. Know that the creation of the Creator is one. Begets none, nor is it begotten. And there's none equal unto it. And we're its servant. Well, that same prayer, almost word for word, is said by Akhenaten in the 18th dynasty of Kemet. O soul God, ye who have was created by none and created out of none, have created all that is, and we are your servant. The prayer of Akhenaten is the same prayer we pray in Islam. Thousands of years later, it's not so much a prayer as it is an acknowledgement of a reality of the oneness of divinity, and that we are nothing more than a reflection of that.
True.
Contained within it is the totality of everything, masculine and feminine. Yet there's process. In the process, to become humans, it had to first come as the mother. And she gave birth to the Herut, to the child, the male. And then we created the human world. They left us all kinds of knowledge of that and all kinds of ways of expressing that. But it all comes back to the oneness. We are just one.
True.
I have this question here from Brother Danny. And Brother Danny is saying, I was asked to prepare a memorial presentation for Baba Ronoko Rashidi a couple of years ago and use both of your voices in the tribute video. Thank you for all that you are.
Thank you.
We love Ronoko so much.
Yes, yes.
Him and I grew up together in this movement. You know, very young men coming around Ben and Clark and Jeffries, and all the great griots and Dr. Welsing and so many of the great griots. And we were trying to take our notes and figure them out and listen to them. And so, and he grew into a great light.
Yes.
And showed us how to use media via the camera to tell our stories all over the world. He has no equal in doing that.
Yes, indeed.
We love you, Ronoko. You're still here. You still here. You still know us. We still know you.
Yeah. I hope Brother Daniel, you'll be able to share that memorial presentation with us sometime, because I think his memorial is coming up again. They just come. So Brother Daniel, if you would really like to commemorate at every time, we know they are there. So yeah, it will be a pleasure to hear Professor Bayyinah's voice and Professor James' voice in that tribute, in that memorial. That will be an honor for us. And thank you also for your support, Brother Danny. We appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Professor, you are ready.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
white bling bling, that white bling bling thing that you just each time I'm watching the commercial, people, let's watch. Honestly, I can watch this 1 million times. Each time I watch the commercial, I post it at where Professor Bayyinah is. I always make sure.
Haiti, fragile nation, land of the unexpected. You ask for more from Eritaj, and now it's coming. Get ready for an unforgettable experience on Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m. at the Coral Springs Center for the Arts. Join Yol de Rose and an incredible lineup of talented artists as they present a powerful play that proudly showcases the history of our beloved country, helping us to truly understand. Eritaj is a collective effort involving more than 40 artists and technicians, all coming together to bring Haiti's rich cultural heritage to life. 10 remarkable voices will embody the roles of 10 brave female ancestors who made immense sacrifices in the battle for Haiti's liberation. The cast includes Carole Demisma, Laurence Durand, Béatrice Quebro, Tiffane, Misty Jean, Donald Theodore, Tafami Soleil, Darlene Desca, Fatima, Annie Alert, Riva, and Richelle Guillaume, all reenacting the pivotal roles these women played in building our resilient nation, Haiti. Eritaj is the original creation of Yol de Rose in collaboration with Florence.
Did you see that? I wanted to post it. And then Professor Bayyinah, that's why I was Papa, because I know the queen in white, not just white, like silk, like, oh my God. Hey. Professor Bayyinah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much respect. We are going to continue, like we said. I've shared the links for the tickets for those that were asking for the ticket. We'll continue to share it this week. And yes, Heritage has come as the new Africa in a way that we need to present. That's why we talked about the costumes. That's what we talked about, the beauty, the style, the confidence. That Professor is telling us that's what we're seeing, the new metamorphose of Professor Bayyinah now. Like, she's a girl. Professor Bayyinah is before us. You would not know her. So please make sure you are already just being used to, because getting into that role of acting, of not acting, because I really just don't like, of representing us. I think the queen, the new queen of Africa that we've long looked for. their mother, their daughter, the real one, has been called again by her ancestors, to become in another version. I think that's why I started by saying when Professor has danced, she has sung. I used to see, I wear kinky not because I have this, but when I see Professor Bayyinah, that time, that firebrand, I want to be like her. I want to look like her. I want to have that courage. But you see, Professor Bayyinah is now, metamorphosing right in front of us. Please, let's just be thankful, because at some point I begin to get afraid that we'll not be able to have access to her where the ancestors are taking her to. You know what? These things happen. At some point, we'll need to get to Skyrock and buy some tickets, or even just get the order of being in that presence. So I think we are so humbled, and we're thanking you. And Professor James, to you, I don't know how we can always say this. Like, coming to support a sister. And one thing I've learned, you always position yourself with, oh, no, that was not my show. I was coming to Professor Biden. Even when we took the conversation out of the box, you brought it into the box. each time, like Joshua, each time, the 27 1 million ideas, but you still call us. The heritage is saying, please, children, stay focused. So it's just a melting of everything that we are loving this space and this vibration right here. We're beginning to see the role Mother Nature is rebirthing earth creation. And particularly, we are the most fortunate to step into this role, take our rightful place in words, in action, in colors, in beauty, in just living, just enjoying the universe, and let others work. We don't care. We just enjoy.
Mhm. Well, we are the universe, period. That is our realization that must be understood. We are the universe. There's nothing that makes up the ecology. The plants, the minerals, the water, they all make up our body. Every bacteria one could imagine lives in our bodies, but in harmony and balance. It's only when we do things to bring imbalance to our health that one thing may overtake the other thing and cause a problem. We are the universe. The light energy that comes from the sun and impregnates every fruit, every vegetable that we eat, that impregnates every blade of grass and every leaf that the cow and the sheep and the goat and the chicken eats, is a part of us. We are the universe. And as Bayyinah was talking about talking to the leaves, George Washington Carver, if we study his history, he tells us how he talks to the plants every morning. Any priest, any Mambo, any Hogan in Haiti will tell you, those who are trained, appropriate, and legitimate, that they can talk to the plants. They can talk to the wind. They can talk to the earth.
Yes, I do it too.
And hear the response. So someone has created a confusion in our consciousness through negative knowledge construction so that we can no longer do this or not recognize it as it's being done, because it never stops. The communication between self and self never stops. We just have things that interfere with the frequencies, and we need to move those things out of our way. That's the values of others who are not in form of reality. We call them culture, and language and things.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Right. So we're rounding up the conversation and the session for today. I think Sister Cheryl asked, how long did it actually take for you to put up this whole? Because we see you present. When did you rehearse and do stuff?
Well, first of all, we have to understand it took some 30 years of research to produce the elements.
Yes.
We must not look at things in a very superficial way. So 30 years of research, and followed by another 15, 20 years of various productions like conferences, presentation on PowerPoint, writing books about it, writing articles about it. So it's a whole world of work until y'all asked me to, she wants to put it into a play, or so she would like something, you know, a certain type of information and certain type of details, you know, like so and so, was she tall, was she short, was she light skinned, was she dark skinned, etc., etc. So we go through, you know, descriptions of people as much as we can, and so all this in order to produce the play. Now, as far as me using the little part of playing griot, I guess I took maybe a month and a half of studying my lines every day, practicing, and that's about it. And then, but it's not like I'm doing something that I don't usually do. You know, it's doing something, except there you have to be very precise. You have to be 1 minute or 2 minutes, whatever it is. You can't just talk.
That's not for me.
So that's the key thing is for me, is the biggest effort is for me to learn to say exactly what they want to hear within the time period that is allotted.
Okay.
Mhm.
Blessings.
And it's a lot. And I think they were great. People learn to do. We all have these, if we have the right person, it's not an effort. That's what I learned through this experience with looking at the young people who are representing Queen Marie-Louise or Empress Félicité or Lieutenant Sanit Belair, etc. So when you look at them, if the person who's doing the picking, the director, picked the right person, it comes out effortless.
Oh, Professor Bayyinah, I'm sorry, we just cannot let you go. These questions are coming up. Like Eleanor is, please, is it any possibility that for whatever it would come up into a movie?
I don't have the right contact, but if you do, we can make it happen. As I said, Impossible died on November 18, 1803. So if you want it to happen, work at it and let's talk and let's see how we can make it happen together.
Impossible died on November 18.
Yes.
That's a beautiful one. Thank you. All right. So you guys have heard. Oh my God. Hey, hi, Cheryl. See, please, Cheryl. You want to get everything up, Professor. How did you prepare for your role?
I just said it. I study, I repeat every day my words and stick to the time limit that they have allotted to me.
Yes.
I do it every day until the day it happens.
Yep. That's true. Even till today, Brother Echika, or so she said they did Lion King, and it's playing even till today in Hamburg. It became like just the culture of it, and those our stuff. That's our stories. That they made money, some billions of it. So yes, Heritage is the new one. It's the new session now. It's the new child in the in the kingdom. It's the newborn. So thank you very much, our brethren, our beloved. Thank you, Professor James Small, Brother
Always
James.
an honor being with Sister
Yes.
Bayyinah and being with Dr. Tata. So thank you, Sister Bayyinah. Again, you broadened the light. You brightened the light for us. And we thank you.
Thank you very much. And if I have any value at all, it's because I met people like yourselves who encouraged Brother James, you know, from what, 30 some odd years ago. Say, hey, you can do it. Go ahead. So, yes, encouragement and support has always been, what you guys have offered. And that's why, if there is any value in what we do today, it's because we've had that support. Thank you very, very much. And even those we don't see who on the what is it? I don't know what it's called, the comments or something. You guys are encouraging and giving courage, giving encouragement, comments, that you too. No work is done by one person. Never. Anything of value is a community activity. So
Yes.
do not underestimate what you're doing by coming to listen, by coming to question, by
Sure.
putting your questions in the comment. All of
Mm.
that help us to grow. Thank you.
Bayyinah. Last
Okay.
question. Your play, can it happen somehow by Mother Nature that it lands in Atlanta? Sister Indigo is asking, or Birmingham. That's what she already asked. Could they be some?
We are in a society where plays like that one would be more combated than aided. So we must not get into any kind of illusion. If we wanted to go anywhere, we need to mobilize, we need to organize, we need to structure, and then make it happen. Okay. First thing is intention, then it's planning and plotting. That's how you make things happen. So Mother Nature is not going to make it happen. She's already done what she could do for us.
So, Synovia, I think Professor is just telling us, yes, it's in our hands. Like from the way I hear, it's not that kind of a, I think the way they're asking is like, is that kind of a roadshow where you're here in this city and then tomorrow in that city, like the Harlem Gospels, whatever. But this one you're saying, it's your thing, it's our thing. We have put the work, you have seen it. Now, do you want to make it happen? Let's talk, let's organize, let's plan. We want it in Atlanta, we can have it in Atlanta. So I think it depends on us from what I see.
Absolutely.
Okay. So thank you, my beloved, and
Peace and
we catch up.
blessings. Peace and blessings.
Peace and
Blessings,
blessings.
blessings, Professor James Small, and you to Professor Bayyinah.
Thank you very much.
Blessings, I share. Yes.
Ashe, ashe,
Thank you.
ashe.
Thank you. Yes. And to you, my beloved. You were so brave, so powerful, so strong. And I love the questions that you were putting out there. I love the heart. I love the love that you showed Queen Mother, Professor Bayyinah Bello, our sister, the only one alive that I respect. The only one alive, the only one woman. We know a lot. I mean, the ones that we know that is actually has been unchangeable, unchangeable, has been constant, has been on the lane, not changing. She has never missed words. A lot of us on this journey, you see some today, and tomorrow you see them others. Yes, it's also their thing. It's also their thing. But what I'm saying is, Sister B Muma, you did not miss anything. You did not. You're also a firebrand woman making things happen there in Cameroon and West Africa. Sister B Yvonne had been with us and she will be with us again. You didn't miss anything. I mean, you're going to rewatch it. It's a live broadcast, it's a production, and it's going to stay here in this family and in this channel. You can always watch it. So yes, I think Mama Bello has said everything. We have done it. We have made it happen, because place like that, like she said, you will never find it anywhere. There's nobody that is going to fund it. And we don't even love anybody. When I say anybody, we are not anybody, that will fund it, because it's deep. It's us. It's war. I mean, the war of love between us, bringing out, birthing this hidden stuff that had been hidden, that had been taken out, that has been misplaced, that has been, really like hidden. Now it's coming to us. It is upon us now to see how we're going to take it and make it last forever. There's no rush about Heritage for what I see. There is no rush about Heritage. It is the beginning. The daughters are rising, whether they're in the Synovias, in the B. Yvonne, in the Cheryls, in the Anitas, in the Margaret, in the Monikers here. It's coming. It's the time. We talked about it yesterday. There's just literally nothing we have to do. There's just nothing we need to do. The only thing we need to do is just constantly love ourselves as much as possible and spill out. The only peaceful building a software or solution that we have seen worked in every situation, you call it in church or what, in every format, is love. There's no other format that dilutes anything that is contrary to this vibration and the spirit. We know it. It's unbreakable. It's not given. And that's the origin of the creation. That's the origin that the creators, these powers that be, sat and said, we knew only one thing. Let us make us just love. And we were created in every species and dimensions for that same purpose. And so if we know better, we do better. And just look at how, because we're asking, we're receiving on time. We ask about our stories. We call on them voices to come. And they are coming up, boop, 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 but they're selected, putting now everybody in their space. Are you still on board, or you're busy doing something else? Okay, just go and be doing something else. But we are still on board, unchangeable, always on point, not wavering. Not today I'm this, tomorrow and then I become that, and then tomorrow I become this, but in the same spirit and in the same vibration. That's how we stand and we evolve. Look at how we're shining. And to see that, we're going back 7-9 years. I mean, according to our Ethiopian calendar, younger. Hey, please, I just don't want you to think anything lesser. I begin to see, and honestly, I'm foreseeing in this new Africa, some people like Professor Bayyinah will not transit the way we see people transit. I just don't know why I'm having the spirit. Some people would just metamorphose and begin to live again. We will never hear that, okay, they died, we buried them. That's how they're going to just metamorphose into a new dimension, into a new role, and begin again the process. So use that energy that the creator, that the powers that be, the God of our ancestors, have made it that possible, that it is your time and you are the chosen. Professor Bayyinah just said things I said here all the time. That's why I was just happy. I was just like, I could just melt in the studio. Why? She said it. And I keep telling you, without you in this chart, watching, whether you're watching from where, there would be no Pan-African Daily TV. Do we get it? We still just don't get it sometimes. Without you, without us, I mean, there is nothing happening. There is no me, that spirit of Ubuntu. Without King Maponga, without Professor Bayyinah, without Professor James, without Dr. Tony Jaja, without Professor Dr. Arikana, without all of us in that space, nobody can claim that power. Oh, I'm the one doing this. Everybody has just been chosen and given their role. If your role is just only here taking or just watching, even without saying anything, that's your role. And that role is equivalent to Dr. Tata. That role is equivalent to Professor James. That role is equivalent to Professor Bayyinah. In another spatial way, just even listening is too much. Some people that who just don't say anything, just listen. It's a big part of the whole big picture of the process. We get this right. I'm sorry, I know some people have to go to bed and we don't have any issue with it. This is a live production and Patrick is going to slice it and begin to reproduce to us in the small formats that we know. But like I said already, You see how even YouTube, the channels that we're operating on, have trusted us. They've tested us. They've tried to seal us. They've tried to convince us into something else on these platforms. But they also know where truth is, and they also know authenticity. They know original content. They know original people too. Like, yeah, I remember the words of Cheryl always saying, and God is plan. God is part of this story. So exactly, that's the point. So even YouTube or Facebook or what, they also in it. And now they're giving us other possibilities that we can also get members, and certain priorities or certain projects would actually be given to that membership. And so that's why, like Heritage, after it goes live, we're going to reach out from Pan African Daily. They're going to give it to us. Like you that are subscribing to a membership, depending on the package you have, you'll be the exclusive ones to watch it. It's not unfair. It's just how we need to contribute to make it happen. Like Professor Bayyinah is saying, it depends on us. How much money is going to go into Heritage is going to stay. But whether we do it or not, it's time. It's just a time that it's happening. It will go and live forever. Whether we watch it and put money or not, it has come to stay. The spirit would just make it. The ancestors, the creation, the nature, the vibration, the energy would keep it here forever for our children and children and children, while we go and go and go and come back, go and come back. I love all of you. We're going to see yourselves. Oh, I don't know whether we would be able to see ourselves live tomorrow, but I should have loved to do that because we have our sister right here. Reparations has been on the line. She has been looking for her purpose. She has touched all the small, small things. And now she's been called to be the voice for reparations. And that's why they gave her even that name. So reparations want to host her show, not want to, is part of this community to host her show called Reparations. So tomorrow in the morning, we're going to test it. And tomorrow she would start that show. So please let us, and she's starting with a critical presentation. A presentation of reparations, of why it is time to demand reparations. And even, we say the things and they take it and they put it into a plan. And then that plan supposedly is supposed to come from them or work according to the terms. It will blow your mind. The statistics that reparation is going to bring on her show, reparations for the African child and Africans everywhere. So please join us tomorrow. It's going to be a presentation. I don't know how she wants to run it. I'm not going to moderate it. She has access. I might only also just join and just greet her in it, but it's not my show. It's a reparation show. So let us give this sister that same exposure, that same acknowledgement, that same time that she has put in this. And she has been chosen only amongst us. Like Professor Bayyinah said, she's been chosen in this other dimension. So our sister Reparation has been chosen to talk about what she has been fighting for all her life. Her deal is we need reparations, no matter what we would say and say. And she's been going out looking for statistics. And she's coming up. I don't want to say it. I've seen the presentation myself. That's I'm not old. That's a privilege of, yeah, of being that bad here. So she's coming up with a powerful presentation. I cannot wait to watch it. You too, you would see the statistics. You will see the things that we're saying, and they take it now and they put it into a plan that comes back to us. So please welcome our sister Reparation. We're going to do her flyer as soon as we can, and we're going to post it tomorrow. But it's a new show coming on live on Pan African Daily TV. She wants to maintain her slot. We don't know how often she's going to be coming, once or twice in a week, but she is bent on bringing every news about reparation. That's what she's been giving to. And so we can only applaud her. And then we also have four of our daughters who also identified us. And they said they want to, their concept or their vision is bridging the gap between the elders and the new generation, because they say there are a lot of misunderstandings between us. Like we literally don't understand them somehow, and they don't understand. They're not saying them. They're saying from their experiences, from their research. So bridging that gap is actually like coming up now, where the young generations, or particularly the youth, are telling us by themselves, oh, this is how we see the Africa we want, and getting the impulse also from the elders to say, okay, you're right, or you're not right. Like the youth are saying, we're always saying, yes, it's the youth. We have to give on the time for Africa. They say they're not really prepared, like they really don't know if they're doing the right thing. So they will be coming up. There are 4 young girls that are putting up, but each one wants to do their own slot differently. So we're literally going to be busy on Pan-African Daily and getting into others. And we also see our sister here. Sister B is a very powerful woman in terms of women on the continent that are also doing navigating to get that knowledge as we're sharing here. Most of them on the continent really still don't understand the history because they're living in the reality. And Sister B is also part of a team that would also like to secure their slot and to begin to talk about their own situations, like mothers on the continent and the kind of challenges. So we're really going to see a lot coming up on Pan-African Daily, not just this any tata all the time here, but I think we'll be seeing a lot of fire going on Pan-African Daily. And of course, you too, bridging the gap. Exactly. That's the point. Intergenerational dialogue is what has not been happening, to get the youth perspective of what they expect, what they need from us, what they need to learn, and then tell us also that, yes, we are also coming from a generation that we've inherited a lot. And how do we bring this whole picture and begin to redefine themselves? For instance, girls. Our girls say, the way they date now, for instance, is different. How can they learn from the past? The way they want to build their families, the way they look even. Sometimes we're like, even though they really colonize, like decolonizing their mindset, but they still want to keep their, the way they look. Is that a trouble for us, the older generation? Is that not enough? Because what they think is their brains should be in order. So all these questions have been coming up. This bridging of the generational gap is also going to make us sit back to and like, oh, wait a minute, I never thought about it. Oh, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it this way. So that we begin to understand how we communicate the older generation, the younger generation, so we have a common dialogue. Right now, just like everything was divided, it's like, oh, the elders, or the seniors, or the media class, or the Gen Z is coming up, and even going up to our children. So there's a lot that they want to express with them. But like I said, they'll be hosting their individual shows. I'm not hosting them. So they're positioning themselves on Pan-African Daily, and it's a beautiful thing that our children are coming to us. We're not running behind them. We tried all those things. Oh, bring youths together, try to teach them to do that. But when it's not your call, it's not, or when it's not the right time. So we just set them free at one point and say, just do your thing. But now they're coming. These ones are very strange. They never even had the privilege that we were giving to the first youth. The ones that receive our mentorship, they received it, they've gone, they're doing their own thing too with what they learn. But these ones are the ones that are coming to say, we have a little bit of experience, but we want to actually create our own show. Like we have a young girl that left America and decided and told her mom, I'm born in America, I'm raised in America, but I don't feel like I belong here. I want to go back home. And she relocated to Kenya and studied there, and she just graduated in journalism, and the parents came. And this kind of thing is something that is just burning in her heart. She wants to share her experience, why she never felt at home in America, and why she felt at home as an American, as an American child born out there and raised out there, why she feels more comfortable at home, and she's making it big time. So you see, those kind of generation things that are hiding a lot in our society, our young people are beginning to come up with it. We did it today, almost 2.5 hours. So let's go to sleep. But I just want to, for those who want to enjoy the drum show, I just play it and we end the show, okay? Thank you so very much. And we see ourselves tomorrow with reparation. Get ready. The time is now. You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.